Juan Garcia, and I'm the station manager at KTSW 89.9. So, about a year ago, I knew that I would be taking over the station manager position in May for the summer semester, and I had already started planning a bunch of stuff that I was going to do and a couple changes that I was going to make before the pandemic hit. And in a normal semester, running KTSW or really running any radio station can be tough. But at KTSW, we always have a really great, really talented team of executives that work really hard to produce a lot of really cool stuff for us. But running it during a pandemic is a different beast. But through all of that and losing 3 executives, we still planned 4 major broadcasts. We kept it together, and I have yet to fail any of my classes. So I guess you can call it a success. But I guess the first thing that we did was we transitioned to the new normal. So when the pandemic hit and we had to go to remote work for the summer, the first thing that we had to figure out was what we could do. And we knew we wanted to focus on our broadcast events. And that meant getting DJs back on air. We wanted to do it safely, but we still wanted to do it in a way that still gave us the right product on air. And when we felt comfortable with that, we moved forward with planning the broadcast. And the broadcast wasn't perfect, but we learned a lot that we then implemented in all of the other broadcasts that we did for the rest of the semester. Unfortunately, the return to school wasn't easy on my music director, and she informed us that she wasn't going to be able to finish out the semester. And replacing an executive during the regular hiring period is tough, but it's completely different in the middle of a pandemic-affected semester. But we had 2 veterans step up and really hold it down in the department. And without them pulling through, I don't know if we would have been able to do any of the stuff that we did from that point on in the semester. Finding someone to take over multimedia wasn't as easy as finding our co-music directors. But when we did, the guy that we put in the position was fantastic, and he really took that department and turned it into one of our strongest ones. And that allowed me to start focusing more on our election broadcast. Now, the election broadcast is probably one of the ones that I am most proud of, but it also was a difficult time because I had to plan that while my program director was planning our International Men's Day broadcast. And the election broadcast really should have been planned by our news department, but we had a very minimal news operation that didn't have the manpower to put something like that together. So we had to start spreading ourselves thin. And by mid-October, I had received my program director's 2-week notice. Now, programming is pretty much at the heart of everything we do. It's our live sound, it's our DJs, it's what makes us a radio station. And finding a replacement in the department needs to be a really good fit. And as of right now, we have yet to find that fit. Since the start of November, I've had to take on extra responsibilities in programming where I can along with my station manager duties, and it's been tough. I finished planning the International Men's Day broadcast and then produced for it, I DJ'd in it, and I basically just ran the whole broadcast all day. And it really showed me why I need an effective program director to take those responsibilities from me. Unfortunately, for one reason or another, none of the candidates that we've interviewed have really been fits. So it's looking more and more likely that we're going to have to go into next semester with a group of assistant directors to take some of those responsibilities, but not really take on the full role. It isn't really ideal, and this isn't really where I wanted to be at this stage in my time with KTSW, but nobody could have predicted the new normal that we were forced to take on. And I absolutely don't fault the directors that chose to leave for leaving, because ultimately it was a really tough decision that they had to take. It's just one more hurdle for us to get through. And I have one more semester, and I intend on using it to leave the station in a better place than where I took over from, and making sure that whoever takes over from me doesn't have to go through a lot of the same challenges and the same hurdles that I had to go through in my time.